Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Tinker's Cart Art, and it's almost St. Patrick's Day, so let's paint some colorful shamrocks. They're really fun, whimsical, very colorful as you can see. There's red, there's purple, all sorts of colors. So let me walk you through quickly how to paint this really fun painting. And I'm going to start in showing you the background. Very colorful in the background as well. So, hey, thank you guys for watching. Hey, Marianne, listen, say hello when you come on. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're painting any St. Patrick's Day or spring paintings now. And let's start. I'm just using a wide brush. You can use any sort of this is just my acrylic 1-inch or 2-inch flat. You could use your old chip brush, whatever you want. We're going to put a really colorful background on here, and then we're just going to put some really fun, easy to paint. They don't have to be sketched on. They don't have to be perfect. They're going to be very rough, and we're going to give them some highlights and some dots, and then I finish up with a little Sharpie outlining here and there. So, hey, thank you. Hey, Annie. Thank you guys for watching. Let me go on and show you what I'm using for colors. I took a random assortment of colors out. Take what you like, what your color palette is usually. I've got some white and some brighter colors, and I'm going to mix them down a little bit as I go. So I'm going to take, it doesn't matter where you start. This is just a fun background. I'm taking a little orange, but I am adding white with it as I go. And I'm going to start in one corner and kind of work over so that I can mix my colors wet and get them to get that nice blend. And so I'm just going to go on, and can you see I'm using sort of a crisscrossy brush stroke, something textured. You just don't want to go back and forth like you're painting a wall. So you just go on there, get some color on. I'm painting on my mixed media pad, so the paint is going to dry a little quicker, but I'm going to use just white as a blender almost. So can you see I've got my wet, kind of a light orange here. I'm taking some white and going right into that, and can you see how it's blending? Here, you can see how it's blending pretty easily. I'm going to use just a paper towel to wipe my brush off in between colors. And I'm just going to go in and out of all these colors. I may mix some up as well. I've used just some blues and some pinks. Take a little tiny bit of red into my white this time to get a little bit more of a pink shade. The reason I'm working fairly quickly is so I can blend these colors as I go. If I need to, I wipe it off, take some white, and that will help blend those two colors together too. Just some little crisscrossy strokes and work your way across. Do not worry about what it's going to look like. This is background, and this is to have fun. I don't want you stressing. It's for fun. So any color I'm using, my darker colors here, my brighter colors, I'm mixing down with a little bit of white. And then I'll just wipe off the colors when I want to go to something else. I want a little blue. I'll take just a tiny blue. That's a pretty strong blue. And I'm going to mix it with some white. I'm going to have another palette here because I know I'm going to run out of room. But let's get a nice light blue. Rather start a little light with the colors and add more pigment if I need to. And like I said, if you're working on the canvas, you're going to have a little more time to blend. I'm on this mixed media paper, and I did not gesso it first. So we're just going to work with it. If I need to blend a color, some colors drying too much here, again, what do? I just take off that color and take some white, and right between where the two colors meet, I give it a little blend. And can you see it's kind of just like blocks of color? And we're going to have colorful shamrocks, but we're starting with pretty colorful background. And I'm going to rinse that brush off now and go into some other colors. And when I do rinse off, I want to get all the water off that brush. I don't want it to be a watercolor effect. I want to have kind of full coverage. So, and some oranges, some yellows. I've got this kind of a more goldy yellow here I might use. Might be kind of fun to blend. So work right along and just get your colors in there. If there's something you don't like, it doesn't matter. You're putting a bunch of shamrocks on here afterwards. And you know what, I might take, I know I'm working corner to corner, but I think I'm going to lay in some color here and there since I have it on my brush and work fairly quickly, and then I can get it to blend. I might mix a little bit of blue and red to get a purple with the white to lighten it up. If I put it on and I think it's too dark, I want something a little subtle in the background. If I think it's too dark and it's going to kind of interfere with my shamrocks on top, I'll just add some white to it and lighten it up and let that blend. Might get a little bit of that up there. Even if some of the white of your background shows through, that's okay too. So we'll get this background on, then I'll show you the really fun part, putting on all those shamrocks. And I'm going to grab some paper towels. I always want to paint with paper towels in one hand to dry my brush off. I use a lot of dry brush techniques, so I always got some paper towels handy. What haven't we used? I've got some, I want to get a little more green in here. I've got this phthalo green, which is very blue-green. Makes really a nice background color too. Put some of that in, it's kind of like a mint green. And I'll put some over here as while I'm out. So you can see I'm just putting on splotches of colors, blending them into each other if they're wet, and if not, and I lose it and it's dried, I just take some white and that's going to blend them for me too. Which is nice because it gives you a little bit of light and dark. You get some of that darker, brighter minty green color, and then with some white you get a little bit of a lighter shade. Don't have much of that orange, so let's go back and do a little more of that. And then we're just about ready to do our shamrocks. I've done the same painting with hearts for Valentine's Day, so you can do the same sort of background, same way we're doing these shamrocks, but make them heart-shaped. So it's just a pretty colorful background, as you can see. I'm going to hop along and just add some shamrocks and show you how much fun those are. So hey Denise, hi guys, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to paint with you all. Shamrocks are green, I know, but I'm going to put some purple and some red, some blue. But let's just start. I'm going to just freehand them all on. If you want to sketch with a pencil or some chalk, you can do that easy enough. I make some a pretty dark green, I make some a little lighter. I'm just going to start, and this is the shape I make my shamrocks. They're a little bit like a heart almost. And I'm going to just do the 3 leaves. You see I make that little indent just for fun there. I'm using just a flat acrylic brush at the moment. I do the 3 sort of like heart shapes, and then I finish up the little tails. So I have my flat brush, I press it a little bit and pull it in, and you get that cute little tail. It's a pretty big shamrock, so I'm going to vary them in size. So while I have that dark green, let's make one more that color. So let's make one more a little smaller. Have fun with these. This is a fun painting. I might go in now to my yellow while it's even wet and just sort of just going inside it with a little yellow. Not showing up too much, I'll get a little white. If your yellow, which is very transparent, doesn't show up, just add a little white to it. It gives it, makes it a little more opaque. And you see I'm using rough brush strokes. I'm not worrying about blending them too much. I'm just adding a little bit of light yellow into the middle of my shamrock. Just some of those brush strokes, up to that maybe. Just for fun. Just to give it a little pizzazz. I'm going to make some other colors. I have some here that's a little bit lighter. I'm going to get a little brighter yellow here too. This is kind of a gold yellow, which is nice. This I'm going to mix and make it with my green. I also have some nice lime green there. What I'm trying to do is just get some different shades of green. Same shape. You can just vary your sizes. Little tail. Might go into the lime green and make a little bit of a lime green shamrock there. It's kind of got to be a little bit of a chubby shamrock, but we're not worrying about it. And if you want, you can go and you can add a little yellow. See, I'm just dabbing that color in there. I'm just getting a little color inside the green. Go back to these guys if it needs it. Now let's have some fun with some unique and different color shamrocks. I used some red here. Nothing wrong with making them all green if you want to too. Hey Charlotte, hey guys. So I'm just going to make some little shapes of shamrocks there. You see I make the 3 petals, and then I just use my flat brush, a little bit of a chisel edge, and make a little stem. I'm making them wonky on purpose. We're not going to fuss and try to get them perfect. They're fine, just like that. I have red on my brush, so why not go into some blue and get some purple shamrocks in there too. While they're wet, it's nice to throw some light colors. I have some white on there too. Let's make this guy a little bigger. I find the purple that I make just mixing my primaries, my red and blue, is a nicer purple than I can get sometimes even in the bottled colors, and it has a little bit of coverage. And while these are wet, I'm taking a little white and I've just sort of brushed in here and there so they're not so flat. Look at them, just putting some little brush strokes of white, maybe go on the stem if it needs to. It's very painterly, these guys, very almost abstract a little bit. We forgot the tail there. I'll go back to my red with a little bit of white so I can get some pink inside these guys. See if it just takes the plain red shamrock and just makes it a little more fun. And what else did we do? I did some purple, red, let's get purple, some lime green, let's do some lighter ones maybe. You can do some little ones with just your flat brush. I'll show you how to do a little brush stroke, one stroke. So I've just got the flat brush and I just make a little press and pull, press and pull, press and pull, and you can make a little shamrock like that. These little guys, you don't have to make the big shapes. Let me make one in the dark green so you can see the brush strokes that I'm doing. So I'm going to just press and pull. So you can see I'm just bringing those 3 petals in and the little stem. You can scatter those throughout wherever you want. And that's the basic part. Background all colorful. Throw in some of your shamrocks, add a little yellow or white in them so they're just not flat color. And now we're going to take some white paint and give them a sort of an outline, not a perfect outline. I'm not going to be like with a round brush and making it perfect. I might take, this is a little big, I might just take a round, and I'm going to just use broken strokes. I'm not going to, like I said, go around them perfectly. We'll get some fresh white out because this is kind of messy now. And what I'm going to do, I'm thinning my paint down a tiny bit, and I'll do it on the big one first. So I'm not taking a brush and carefully trying to outline my perfect little shamrock. I am just really roughly, can you see I'm broken strokes? This is a little wet, it's mixing with the green, it's making a little bit of light green, that's great. Just outlining it with some broken white, maybe one side of the little stem. I like to put a little dot in there sometimes. So let's do that to all of them. And that's the next step, a little bit of an outline on here with the white. And it doesn't matter if it's dry because I like it when a paint sort of blends in and you get a variation of line. It's white, but it's also pink in some places. I have a few other St. Patrick's Day things I'll try to pop in. I know it's last minute, but it's kind of fun to paint something seasonally and themed. March has really snuck up on us. It's hard to believe we're in the middle of March already. It's nice to see the weather getting a little nicer here in New England. We have some warm days in between the cold days and the snow. And like I said, I was putting some little dots in there maybe. And even the little guys, even give the little guys a little bit of a outline. Don't worry about dragging some of the colors through. Very rough and ready. Do not try to get too precise. Dots here and there. Sometimes I just take some of the colors that we put a little yellow in there. I want it to be more brush strokey. I'll just take some of my yellow and white, and we can now, you know, kind of almost make, let me get a little more green in there. Just little accent lines here and there. Have fun. Just little brush strokes. And we'll do that with some of the other colors, but I want to rinse that green off. I might go back into with some pink and do same sort of things. You could just do some little line work. You could just dab some color in there. I do like the little dot there. Go for this red one. I know it looks crazy, but it's fun. So I'm taking just a lighter color of what I have on there. There's that lighter purple. Just some random brush strokes. You can always put them on the little tails too. Little stems really, not tails, but there. So it is getting to be kind of fun. And just look at your painting. I threw little dots here and there, which you can make with the back end of your brush if you'd like to. It's a little easier maybe. You could just add some dots here and there on your background, on your shamrocks. Just adds a little texture. You can make it with your brush if you want, or you can make it with the back end. I just put them here and there. And different size brushes, you can get different size dots. I did take now and just little outlines of some of Shamrocks, so on your darker areas where it might show up, just your white paint you could take and just draw some in. See if you can see that. I'm just doing, maybe make that shape only like a little outline. Very rough, but you can see this little outline shapes of Shamrocks. I would do the white ones pretty much more on a darker area so that you could see them. Very rough. Can you see I'm not worrying about the line work, not worrying about the brush hairs kind of showing. I'm just getting the little shape of Shamrocks vaguely in the background. I'll do some with green. I'm going to use my dark phthalo green. That'll show up nice. That'll show up nice on any of the colors here. So I'm just going to make the little shape. Show up nice down here. Wherever you want to make them. Can you see there? They can overlap something that you have. They don't have to be perfect. Just making it a little busy with the Shamrock theme. I did some of these guys and I just did dots all around. Some of them I just did with my white paint. I did that little outline that we did and then I just did this all around. I really went crazy with some of the dots, didn't I, here and there. Some I just did little lines. But you get the idea. Colorful background, some fun colorful Shamrocks, blob on some colors, do some dots, and I ended it up with some Sharpie. So let your paint dry good because, as you know, if you take a Sharpie onto wet paint, your Sharpie will just stop working. So you want to have it dry and then go back and you can do all kinds of line work with this. And I'll show you up close what it looks like. Can you see? I've got like little lines almost holding the Shamrocks up with little bows on them as if they're hanging. And you could do anything like that. You could even take your colored Sharpies or paint markers and make your little Shamrock shapes in the back, the outlines. So what I did, and I'm going to be very careful not to go into my wet paint, but I want to show you a little bit about how I did this. I would maybe start up here and make a line down to that guy. Maybe if you want to make a little bit like it's a little bit of a bow, like it's holding that Shamrock up. And then you would do the same thing here and there. And I just kind of connected them all, little bows, little lines. I outlined some of them. I would just, I'll try to be careful because I think my paint is a little wet. And I would just roughly outline some. Can you see I'm not really, I'm going to do it actually with my liner brush and black paint, but when you do this, I would let it dry good and just use your Sharpie. It would be a lot easier. Nothing to say you can't use your liner. I'm just going to take a liner, a little black paint, just so you get the idea of where this is going to go. And when I do any work with my liner brush, I thin my paint down quite a bit with water. I want that paint to really flow. I want it to be like ink more. Your liner brush is great because it will hold all that paint for you and you can get some nice long strokes, but you want the paint consistency to be a little wetter. You want it to be more like ink and it will flow really nicely for you. So when I outline these guys, it's really not a perfect line. I'm not following anything. I am just making some broken lines, outlining them roughly. I'm not going to fuss and stress This is such a fun painting. You don't want to stress about it. Can you see that little bit of a black outline I've got there? And those could be anywhere. I've connected, I put some little strings that would come down and connect these guys perhaps. Make your little bows. And this could come down and connect here. You could have one here that's coming down. This could connect. I'm not really, I'm stopping and starting these lines. I'm not worrying about them all connecting perfectly. And to fill in just a little something, something, that's where I just go in and give them some little, like a little bow kind of a look. But it's fun. I think it's fun and colorful and springy and not your typical just green shamrock leprechauns and things. I might take a little bit of my white, which is a little pink there, but with just some water again with my liner brush. And if there's some spaces and you want to add even more little details, I would take and just with my liner brush make some little spirals. Love the spiral design. I use it a lot in lots of paintings. Can you see I'm just making little spirals here and there? Again, the white will show up nice on something dark. It'll be more subtle on something light like yellow, but it'll still be there. It'll still show. Do a lot of these little spirals in the background of my Tree of Life paintings. And I think maybe it might be a little easier with the spiral on a regular little round brush rather than the liner. Sometimes it's a little hard to control, but if you've got your little, just a little detail brush, you could go to town and make all sorts of little spirals just to fill in here and there. Like you don't have enough little fun details on this, right? Glitter. You could add glitter on here too. That might be fun sometimes. And there we have it. It's just a quick little something something. And just fun little shamrocks. This would be great in your, in your mixed media journal or on a little block of wood. You could put a little Happy St. Patrick's Day sign or something. Just a fun little background. Hey, so thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And I just wanted to pop in and just show you something fun and colorful today. And I will paint with you soon. So thank you guys for watching.